All right, cool. Welcome to another episode of Africans Talk Football. Hope everybody's having a good night. How y'all feeling tonight?
Pretty
Doing all
good.
right.
How about you guys?
That's what's up. We were just talking about it. It's been a week or so since it's been just the four of us. The OG ATF members. Want to say thank you again to everybody who's been rocking with us, our friends, our supporters out there, and then to our two guests last week, Solo and Poppy. Thanks again for popping on. Um, it was good to hear a Liverpool fan back in
Mm-hmm.
the mix for a little bit because they've been balling this year, and it's cool to hear from their perspective how they actually feel, about their team these first month or two into the season. They're rolling, I believe, currently in second place in the league, or
Mm,
yeah, currently in second place, just 2 points behind City. So I mean, we were kind of talking about it before we hopped on here and started recording, but through the first month or so, 2 months into European football, um, it, this top four, it looks interesting, man. I wanted to talk about La Liga a little bit. I mean, we were talking about, you know, Girona. I don't know what's
Yeah.
going on with them, but through 6 matches, they have one game in hand. Barcelona is the only team that's played seven, or I guess a few teams have played seven games in La Liga, but Barcelona currently in first place, sitting on 17 points. Girona currently in second place, sitting on 16 points. Madrid currently in third place on 15 points, and then Athletic Club in fourth place right now with 13 points, and then Atletico Madrid in fifth with 10 points. So already, I mean, from first place all the way to fifth place has been 7 points, which is a pretty huge gap. 2 weeks
Mm-hmm.
or two months into the season. And then we got this young Girona team, bro. I honestly have not seen them play this year, but I kind of was just looking at standings over the weekend. They beat Mallorca 5-3 on Saturday. They're scoring a whole bunch of goals, man. I don't think besides their first match against Sociedad, they scored at least two in all of their matches. So this young team is balling right now. Barcelona, I know they're in first place right now, but they look beatable. Man, it seems like they
Mm-hmm.
concede first in a lot of their matches, and they're always fighting from behind. Even today, they had a fight for a 2-2 draw against Mallorca, who just saw Girona over the weekend. So that's a tough back to back for a team like Mallorca, and for them to put up a result, against Barcelona is huge. So yeah, I mean, I don't know if you guys have been paying a lot of attention, but La Liga is kind of interesting right now. Jude Bellingham, seemingly keeping them in the top four race right now, but Madrid, Barca, Girona, Athletic Club. Is that wild to y'all? Like, have y'all kind of been paying attention over there a little bit?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting for real. I feel like with the Real Madrid specifically, if Jude Bellingham doesn't show up, it seems like they can't find the goals. But Vinny's coming back, so I think when he comes back, it's going to be different. But it is definitely interesting. Girona sitting at the top. I think let's give it 2 more months and see what happens. But it's definitely an interesting start.
yeah, I mean, not taking anything away from them, I think it's a great start to this season. Props to them. I think as the season progresses, we'll see how this shakes out.
Yeah.
Toronto's been in La Liga for a while, so I'm not, by any means saying that they can't be competitive, but they've shown that they can compete in the first division. So, I mean, good for them. I know it's really early on, but Barca took first place today with the 2-2 draw, but I honestly think that they're going to win La Liga this season just because Real Madrid doesn't have a striker. And I think right now, yes, everything looks good with Jude Bellingham, but I think that's going to dry up at some point, especially when you see like how he's scoring these goals.
Hmm.
So, yeah, man, I think Joselu is that's a big downgrade from where
Yeah.
Benzema is. Vinicius is out of the team, and I think that you know I think Lewandowski, João Felix, Rafinha. Barca has a crazy front line. Like,
Yeah.
they have so many options, and I feel like they're back to being like, we have an
Mhm.
abundance of talent in attack.
Points. Oh, what were you saying?
Yeah, Atletico just beat Real Madrid over the weekend, so I
Okay.
think if Real Madrid don't find a striker, it'll be interesting. It'll be an interesting season for them because Bellingham is not going to keep scoring. He will score, but some of these goals, it's almost like right place at the right time. Even in what do you call it, Champions League, the goal, he was right there after the ricochet. He was right there to tap it in, and you can't depend on those type of goals all season.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I feel like they are missing a striker. You're right about that. They haven't really been able to solve not having Benzema moving forward. Um, and then with the injury to Vinny super early on, it doesn't help either. So it's been interesting. I mean, I who would have thought 2 months in Girona would be sitting at the top above Real
Yeah,
Madrid and Atleti. So it's just cool to see. Um, and the way that the the way things stack up, bro, it it wouldn't be uncommon for me to start to see these teams that we haven't seen at the top be competitive. I'm not necessarily saying that we'll see Girona stay in the top four all year, like a Newcastle or like a Brighton seems to be, you know, doing currently. But after seeing a team like Newcastle, after seeing a team like Brighton, these young teams with these new fresh coaches that kind of have a good idea and just get everyone on the same page, we've seen it work in the Premier League a few times over the last, couple of years with some of these teams teetering above the top. You look at what's going on over in France. We were talking about that a little bit. Mbappe's hurt. PSG not playing in the best form right now. They even have, some competition there too. So it's cool to see, Brest
hmm
6 weeks in at first place, Nice, and then PSG there in third place, tied with Monaco on 11 points. It's just crazy. It's like, we're seeing these different teams in Europe now with competitions expanding with the Conference League. We're seeing more of these teams get,
yeah,
you know, playing time on Tuesdays and Wednesdays and Thursdays. So it's you never know who's all gonna perform each week, and that's why we say the Prem is so fun because anybody can get beat. I think we're starting
yeah.
to see that now, kind of in these other five European leagues as well. I mean, Dortmund is still the second best team in Germany, and Bayern is still doing their thing, but you're starting to see a little bit more parity between these leagues, which has been a little bit. It's been
I
interesting.
agree.
I
I
don't know.
agree.
I've just seen it a little bit more now with a lot of players going to Saudi. There's a little bit more of a level playing field, so it's been cool to see these last couple of years these smaller teams hype up. But but yeah, man, let's get into it. We started talking about La Liga and League on a little bit, but our teams, we're getting into European football now. Gabriel wasn't on the last episode, so he wasn't able to share, his thoughts about what he thought Arsenal would do midweek, and then, obviously during the derby. But we'll start with these midweek games. We had a lot go on this week. It's actually kind of crazy. Starting from Tuesday, we had Man City, we had Barcelona, PSG versus Dortmund. Um, and then obviously we had Salam play on Wednesday, Arsenal play on Wednesday. Do we want to get into our teams, or do we want to kind of talk about all the Champions League this first match week a little bit?
Yeah, we can. We can. I mean, there was some interesting results. Arsenal's first Champions League game back. It was a good moment for them. Getting to see players like Saka and what's his name, Smith Rowe make a Champions League debut. These are academy guys. I've been there. Even Eddie Nketiah played, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Mhm.
Yeah, he did play. So another one for him as well. And this is, as a club, these are some of the things you like to see. And it was nice for them to actually have that moment again. Not a horror show, but he seemed to have recovered, in the last week. So I don't know. I just want to see United go to Galatasaray. It's going to be an interesting one for them, but it should be a competitive game.
Yeah, mute Salam.
I think you muted so long.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I think United in the Champions League this season is gonna be something to watch. Like Mike said, I think we're just watching that Bayern game, seeing how that unfolded. It's unfortunate Onana had the performance he did, but he bounced back over the weekend. He bounced back today, which is good. I actually think we're a lot better in these cup competitions than, just because at that point it's just a matter of who's in the best form. But yeah, man, it's the games like Galatasaray that I'm most worried about because those are the ones that I mean, like that's a proper team over there. Zaha's been really doing well for them too. So, I mean, but yeah, seeing Arsenal get their moment, that was good. Barcelona back into the Champions League too. They look pretty dominant. City, I mean, it wasn't pretty, but you know what I'm saying? Alvarez is looking like, that guy that City, leans on throughout the season. It's always something different with them. But yeah, I mean, match week of Champions League 1 didn't disappoint. It was disappointing for me, but I mean, it was very entertaining for sure.
Yeah, I thought the 0-0 Newcastle Milan was interesting. For sure. I'm being completely honest. Just because of Tonali going over to Newcastle. That was an interesting match. But I thought things shook out the way they're supposed to do kind of everywhere. I think all the results kind of just made sense. If I'm being completely honest, I mean, I know United had a kind of a horror show, but honestly, going away 4-3 is
not
you
bad.
shouldn't even gotten the third goal. I'm being honest, like so to even just be -1 goal differential, because goal differential matters a lot. We talk about it all the time. So in group stages, so I think them to even come back 4-3 is an accomplishment. Yeah, crazy. I think City will just continue to do what City does. And it was good for us to, finally be back in Champions League. Of course, our star boy gets the first goal and open up the floodgates for everybody else. And it was good to see. So, I think things just kind of shook how they're supposed to this week in Champions League. And then we'll see what happens this week as well. Or, well, it's not even be this week, but we'll see what happens, next matches. So.
Yeah, I think last week when we were recording, Salam kind of was hesitant about going to the Allianz, but Gabriel, I agree with you. Even getting that last goal in like the 95th minute or whatever for United was huge because it seems like his group is scoring. That Galatasaray game was 2-2, so it seems like this is going to be a league or at least a group with a lot of goals. And I think depending at how it shakes up, it could be one of those between United and Galatasaray maybe, or who knows how the group's going to shake up. If it's good as Bayern looked, they didn't look great. Like I think we've kind of been saying that, like they don't really look that menacing. And if you look on paper, this would be like one of, I don't know, I would say this team is pretty strong. They still are kind of like I feel like last year they were kind of looking for a striker after they lost Lewandowski, and now that they got Kane, it's like, okay, this Bayern team is kind of back to what we know Bayern to be: strong attacking players and then a solid defense. So I don't know. It's interesting that it was only 4-3 over there. I think Barcelona looks serious, but I don't know, man. I think I just missed Joao Felix. I knew he was going to be one of those players. I just knew he was going to be one of those players, and I'm glad he's kind of getting off a little bit at Barca because I always knew he had it in him. But yeah, I guess we're switching gears since you want to go over here and talk about
Joao Felix.
We don't want to talk about Liverpool on Thursday, or we going straight to
no thanks.
I was going to say Brighton's premiere. You know what I'm saying? Ain't getting no dub. We can't talk about Roma.
No, man. Let's get into the real shit, man. What's going on? You guys need more money? Or... Come on.
Chelsea, man. What an interesting team. At the point where we're at now, I'm expecting it to get worse before it gets better. I don't see anything right now that gives us hope because it just seems that everybody's head is gone. The confidence within the team seems to last about the first 20 minutes, and then once a mistake is made, once a goal goes in, we just can't seem to recover. And I'm hoping that with some of the injuries we have coming back, we can maybe see something different. But at this point, there's not really any tactical suggestions you can make because we seem to be using all the guys that are available, and we don't seem to be getting any different result. So to sit here and be like, oh, if we do this or do that, it'll change things. So maybe you could start somebody instead of bringing them in the second half, and maybe it might make a difference. But I personally don't see it. I think the only thing we have to do as a team right now, and as fans, just support, push them, see what we can get out of them until we have a full healthy squad. Because it seems like we're just plugging and playing, and it just seems to not work. I don't know if now is the time to be like Poch out. They clearly chose a strategy to go with young players, and these are some of the things you go through with young players. Some of these guys, this is the first time playing in the Prem. They don't have experience playing in teams like this where they're demanding pressure week in, week out. And until then, I think we're going to struggle for a little bit. But with the money we've spent, you expect, some results. And did we overpay for most players? Yes, we did. And now we're here paying for it because now you're looking for like a microwave solution, something, ready-made, quick fix. And in the past, it's happened. But this time, it's a rebuild, and you've gone the complete different route that you normally go. You normally get experienced players, guys we know. But this time, it's like you went and paid for younger guys that we paid for potential. And we're not seeing those potential right now because the situation just hasn't been very favorable. So
do you think
right now it's all patience? I feel like there's nothing really to say.
Do you feel like when you get your full team back, do you think it's gonna make that big of a difference?
I
Yeah,
do think in certain parts, yeah, it'll make a difference in terms of who are you playing in certain positions. Because right now, if you look at how that left side, right now, that there's nothing happening on that left side. I mean, we can't lie about that. And the last two games, we've seen him play Mudryk, and we've seen him give us a good 30 to 45 minutes, but it just doesn't stick. It seems like at the beginning of the game, when everything is fresh, he's going, but then it dies off. That left side is almost non-existent. So I think in terms of injuries, depending on who comes back, Chukwemeka's back in training, and I think Cornelius will agree with me if I say that when he was in, we were a little bit more, I would say we were a little bit more, I would say, fluid. Right now, we're not as fluid. Everything is so hard. It's like everything's so mechanical. Like everybody is just like don't know what to do. Especially if you look at Gallagher, he's been one of our great players this season, but he still looks out of place because we're asking him to do things that we know we have better players that can do that. And some of the things we're asking him to do is just I don't think he's our number. He's the first option to do those things. So I think guys coming back will help, but these are things we have to go through. Like we just have to go through some of these things.
I mean, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No,
I'm just trying to be realistic.
I said this last week and you weren't here. I feel like, well, we know that our biggest issue right now is we're not clinical. I mean, you can. I agree with Mike 1,000% in pretty much a lot of what he said. Specifically, the first 30 minutes, we look great. I mean, if you look at the first 30 minutes of any of our matches, you would assume that if the rest of the game goes this way, we'd get a result. We look on the front foot. I mean, if you look at the first 5-10 minutes of the match, we almost scored, and so I agree with him in saying that after the first 30 minutes, the confidence goes down, which doesn't really make sense to me. Because if you look at a lot of our matches, we're not really getting scored on. If you look at our last 3 matches, we've lost, 1-0. We tied Bournemouth 0-0, and then we lost to Villa 1-0 after the red card. So it's like, if we're able to score a goal or put pressure on the teams that we're playing, these could be totally different outcomes. Even if, the game goes back and forth, having a goal or two as a cushion just makes you play with a whole different type of mentality. It puts now pressure on the other team. It allows you to do different things. And so when we are always fighting or when we're always down, a lot of these players aren't able to show, what they're best at, because I feel like we've been chasing a lot of these games from behind, even though we start off so high energy. Like, if you go super, super high energy, you have 2, 3, 4 shots on net the first 30 minutes, and then you get scored on, like your whole body language, and you can see it in these players. You can truly see it, because we're not playing a bad brand of football, but until we force and these things we're not getting the end result, and then some BS happens, like a red card by Gusto 30 minutes in, and then now
literally one mistake, and
it literally kills the entire team. So I think that not necessarily we will become an extremely better player, but Chukwuemeka, that's he scored in his second game with us, and then he got hurt. In Cuckoo, we haven't even been able to see him. He was balling out this summer. So a lot of these players that we are missing are in our attacking third. There are attacking players. There are few of the guys that have been able to show us something, whether it was just a spark in the summer or whether they got, a few minutes before it was an injury. And so I think just getting these players back and getting their confidence back is what we need. I mean, Nicholas Jackson scored, on a very rubbish goal. I'm not going to he made the 007 allegations, but let's not act like it was a fantastic goal that he scored. And you see him still trying to chase. I mean, he's getting in great positions. He's getting these one-on-ones with the keeper, and he's just not managing to put him away. And I feel like if we take a lot of the pressure off of him, which I hope Sterling would, be one of those players to do, be one of those senior players that could take the pressure off of some of these younger guys who haven't been in the Prem. But, it's just tough when it doesn't seem to click. Like, we're almost firing. Like, you can see it. We're almost firing. But as soon as one mistake happens, our whole team just implodes. And so it's tough, bro. Like, because personally, we don't have time to just work these things out. It seems like as soon as we get another piece or two back, someone else gets hurt. So, like Mike was saying before, we started, it's good to see Broja back, Broha. I hope he can stay healthy, and I hope he can be someone to take the pressure off, Nico Jackson. It's good to see Chukwuemeka back in training, but will he be able to play for 6, 7, 8 weeks in a row, And we don't have a lot of games. We don't really play that many games. And so hopefully this can start to click a little quicker, like seriously, because I do think we're missing – I wouldn't even say key players. I just think we're missing guys that can turn it on and that give us a better chance of getting results.
Okay, so
that's personally how I feel.
If I were to ask you,
correct,
best player right now, who would you say? Who is Chelsea's best player right now?
His best player.
I don't know.
Enzo.
No one showed me. I mean, I guess technically we could say Enzo, but
he hasn't showed it to me yet.
He hasn't. He had a good first couple of weeks, but it's been like,
I'm just
his body. There's no one
that's not very good.
Yeah, we don't have one right now. Everybody is not up to par.
Nobody it sucks to say, but I'm not gassing nobody on our team right now. No one's really shown me. I mean, Gallagher, he's a workhorse. He's doing what he can, but no one's stepping up and showing me that, okay, maybe they got the juice a little bit. Like maybe this person actually got the juice that we spent all the money for. I'm not seeing it yet.
I haven't seen it yet.
Are you guys Poch out?
No, man.
Not right now. It's so immature right now. It's No.
Tripping.
I
Damn.
think
What?
it's
Gabriel, what?
no.
Why can't I
I've
ask
seen
crazy.
it. I've seen it on Chelsea's social
Let me just
media.
ask a question.
Guys are already punch out, and I think it's too premature
It
because
doesn't make any sense.
you got to be realistic sometimes. Yeah, we spent a lot of money. I completely understand that. But with 11 guys out, how can you actually, build your
Assess,
tactics the
yeah.
way you really want to? Because there are some guys that you have something special you might want them to do on the field, and maybe you might not have them available.
And Salam.
So I don't know. You can't completely say that until I've seen, full body of work. He's had all the guys to actually be on the field to use them, and then we can go from there.
And
But
Salam,
right now, it's like we just got to go through the pains.
Like, let's not forget, bro. A year ago, this same week is when we fired Tuchel, literally, and that kind of started the avalanche of all the bullshit that's going on right now. So for us to be punch out after 6 games, 7 games, literally makes no sense. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, nah, man, it's premature. We have a lot of injuries. He can't help where we are because of what's been going on to us. But I still need to see more from the players. I still need to see a little bit more, confidence in the team, because we're not playing terrible. We're just not getting the results. Like, it's clear we're not getting the results. It's fact. We're not scoring goals. We're not getting the results, but we're not playing terrible. And that's the most frustrating part. Is the first 20 to 30 minutes are exciting, bro. We look like we're going to get one. We look like we're going to be on the front foot for the whole match. And then, we just can't score. Like, literally, we can't score. So it's tough, but as of right now, I'm not ready to throw it all away. Poch is doing the best he can, but everybody needs to show me something. I'm not letting him off the hook just because of these injuries either. Like, everybody has to step up, and everybody got to show me something. But I'm not there
Some
yet.
of these guys have gotten chances that should be put away, and they just haven't.
Yeah.
So, like he's saying, we need to see. Like Sterling, I'm sorry, but I have to see more from you. You're the senior guy on the squad. I know he's hit the post and all that, but you still haven't given me something to hold on to. Like,
the post.
There have been some instances where you could have just passed the ball, laid it down, do something easy, and you didn't do it. So I don't know. Some guys need to be held accountable, and Sterling, I think, is one of them.
Yeah, I would agree with Mike. We're not in the danger zone yet, but we getting there close. We getting there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man. Enough about Chelsea. We had. Do we want to go NLD?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, let's go NLD, man.
It was a great game.
North London Derby.
Mm-hmm.
It was a fun game.
It was. It was literally all the fireworks we expected it to be. 2-2 draw. I feel like that's acceptable.
Fair lineup. Yeah.
Yeah. For the way the game went specifically, I feel like that is a fair score line for that match. Kind of tells the tale of the entire match. Yeah, I'm gonna just let Gabriel get into it. Thoughts?
Yeah, no, I would say, I don't think that's the tale of the match. I don't think it's a fair result, and I wouldn't put it on anyone else but us. We've been our worst enemy since I don't even know how long. The amount of goals that we've given up on mistakes since dating back to last season is absolutely ridiculous. Like, there's a compilation, I think Troops posted it, a compilation of all the goals of mistakes, especially at home, that we've given up since the beginning of last season is abysmal. And it's not like we couldn't have put this game away. I'm sorry, Gabriel Jesus will never score 20 goals in a Premier League season. This guy is literally on top of the box, and I don't know. I just don't know. I really don't. We could have taken over this match. I'm not saying that, they didn't have their chances, and Son had 2 great finishes. I'm being completely honest. The first finish was world class for sure. World class.
I don't think he can pull that finish off again. That's just me.
That was a world class finish. Saka just got spun. I don't know why he didn't just foul Madison. Like, he wasn't gonna get it. He wasn't gonna get a red for that. He was gonna get a yellow. But I don't know. That moment is that moment. Okay, they got one back, but yet again we score. We get a PK, we score, and then it's just unfortunate that one, we have injuries. Fabio Vieira and Declan Rice, two very important guys in the squad, got injured. It had to be pulled off at halftime. And we had to bring on Jorginho. We don't have Partey, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So we had to bring on Jorginho, and Jorginho, right after we score, just gives the ball to James Madison.
Crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And like like I said, it's not like we couldn't have taken over this match, because once again, Gabriel Jesus could have scored. It was a very clear and obvious opportunity, one that I don't even know why you're going for power. It makes no sense.
Yeah.
You're not going. Why are you going for a screamer? It's an easy pass into either corner. You have both. You're literally on the PK spot almost at that point. So you're going into one corner or the other. You don't really need that much power or finesse, because the keeper is the one at the disadvantage at that point, and for some reason you sky it. And I have no remorse for things like that. I really don't. We're way too good of a team, and we have too many ambitions to let moments like that just go by the wayside. Jorginho as well, Champions League winner, Euro winner. You're way too good. I don't care age or not. You're way too good and have too much experience to
That's
just
a Jorginho I don't miss.
to let that happen in a match. And I mean, it's frustrating, because that was Odegaard's worst performance of the entire season. I'm not going to put the entire performance on him, but I mean, I need my captain to show up in a match like this, especially at home. And the fact that he had a poor match, but then on top of that, we had to bring in two subs that were forced upon Arteta's hands, were bad. We weren't bad, but they just didn't give us what we needed in that match. And then on top of that, I look at Arteta too, because the substitutions made no difference and they made no sense. I don't understand why Eddie and Nketiah played 90 minutes. Please, someone make that make sense to me. Why Gabriel Jesus was pulled off at 77 minutes when Nketiah did nothing but run around for 90 minutes makes zero sense to me.
That's a good point. That's a very good point.
I don't. It's one thing when substitutions are forced upon your hand, but this is a substitution that you willingly talk to AirPod Albert about and your staff about, and you decided to make that change, which makes zero sense to me. If anything, I don't really want to get into it, but yeah, it's just a poor performance just all around, if I'm being completely honest. And I don't want to say like all around as if like every player performed poorly, but you know, as a collective, we didn't look good as a collective. And the performances that we needed out of certain people, and I expect out of certain people, it just wasn't up to par. All the way from the manager to the players. And it starts with Odegaard for me. Like, you know how important you are. You're a captain. That should, off the top, you know how important you are. For you to have a match like this in a derby at home, unacceptable. And I'm not, like, once again, I don't want to put it all on him, but to me, that performance is unacceptable. Arteta, for me, substitutions made no impact. And on top of that, the substitutions you made, I know your hand was forced, but then also after the fact, it just wasn't good enough. I don't see why Eddie and Nketiah got 90 minutes. And then you move on to Gabriel Jesus as well. Bro, I'm sorry, but you need to do better. I need more from you. And this is why I know reports have been coming up about Ivan Toney. Like, I would pay 80 mil. I'd pay 100 for Ivan Toney, 100%. Because you want to know why? I know Ivan Toney will give me 20 goals in the season.
He's making that one.
Something Jesus will not do. He will never do that in a Premier League season. I'm sorry. And the day I see it, hey, shut me up.
We can agree. We can agree he's a better winger, right?
I wouldn't necessarily say that.
I don't think Ivan Toney's a winger.
No.
I'm saying Jesus.
I wouldn't say he's necessarily a better winger, but
then he is
if we're looking,
as far
I mean, I guess in terms of what I'm looking for, probably, yes. Probably, but we don't.
Yeah, before he came.
Yeah,
played
probably.
winger for City a little bit.
But the thing is, you don't even get that many chances.
I feel you.
you get 2 or 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you get an obvious one, I'm sorry, bro. That's so unacceptable. It's unacceptable. And I don't care about what else you do well. You hold up the ball well. Bro, I need you to score a goal. Why is Saka outscoring you season after season? Like, it doesn't matter if you're on City or not. Why is this man outscoring you? Why is Odegaard outscoring you? That doesn't make any sense to me. You're a 9. Odegaard's a 10. You're closer to the goal than him 90% of the match. Why are these mans outscoring you?
Yeah,
why? We need a 9. I'm sorry, we need a 9. That's where I'm at. We need. I don't care who the 9. It could be Osimhen, it can be Ferguson, it can be Tony. We need somebody who's going to come through and give us 15, not even 15, 18 to 23 goals a season. The 17 is the bare minimum. We're too good of a team, and you're too good of players to be missing things like that.
Question for you.
Go ahead.
What? Okay, you talked about Gabriel Jesus. Where do you think Eddie Nketiah tops out at?
He should top out at another club. Like I've been saying.
All right.
He should.
I did not expect that.
I'm being honest.
Right.
I say that with a grain of salt because yes, Eddie has given us moments. But if you look at Eddie Nketiah, he's not up to Arsenal's par. I love your work rate. I love how you train. Great. You do score for us most of the time at home. Great, right? And you fill in for Jesus when he's gone. But as a player, you're not up to par, bro. You're not up to our standards, and where we're progressing at to a team, you're just not there. You're not. I'm sorry. It's just the truth. So, like I said, we had injuries. Unfortunately, Trossard is another one who got injured right before the match. He couldn't start, and that's why Eddie Nketiah had to start. But for me, he didn't do anything first half. Why did he get a whole second half? And we're pulling off Jesus. I don't understand. The better player. I don't get it. I don't understand these decisions. So I'm frustrated with it because this is a match where I believe that we should have come away with all 3 points. And we didn't. We drew the match. And at a certain point, Tottenham wasn't even trying to go for the kill because they're fine with the point. They came to our house and got a point. That's fine for them. They weren't supposed to get that point, and we let them get a point. And that's why I'm upset about. And we always talk about, oh, let's beat the top 6. We have to beat the big guys to win a trophy. This is another match where we should have won. This is another match where we should have won, and we're sitting here with a draw. And it's our fault. 100% our fault. It's not anyone else's fault. It's our fault. And I'm tired of us making the mistakes for us to lose matches. If the other team outplays us and the other team, they outplay us, by all means. All right, they deserve that goal. Like Tottenham, they deserve that first goal. That second goal, they do not deserve. They don't. And guess what? When we take the ball from them in a high up the pitch, we miss the chance. When they take the ball from us high up the pitch, they score it, and that's the difference. That's the margins, and that's the problem with us. And it's unacceptable for me. It's just unacceptable.
Question for you. How do you feel about the Raya start, and do you think Ramsdale would have made a difference?
No, I don't think Ramsdale would have made a difference in this match. I don't think any of the goals were goals he would have saved anyway. I think he wouldn't have saved the first goal. No keeper is saving the first goal. I'm sorry. And the second goal, who's saving that either? I'm sorry. It's Son 1v1. He's 9 times out of 10 he's scoring. So I don't think Ramsdale would have made a difference. I would say one thing, Raya, I feel like Raya did make a difference in crosses. And I know Yasser talks about this all the time, but there were a lot of times where Tottenham would play a ball in, or James Maddison's a very good set piece taker, corners and all. Raya is very confident in coming off his line and commanding the ball, catching it, and doing his thing. And that's something that I wouldn't have felt as comfortable with Ramsdale, because I've seen goals that off of corners and him getting pushed around and bullied in the box where I think we shouldn't have gotten scored on. Those games have also led to draws or just put more pressure on us. So I don't really feel a certain way about it. Obviously Arteta's made the change. I don't think he's going to go back at this point. I think he's kind of put his foot down, and that's where we're at. And I think we'll see Ramsdale and Carabao and FA Cup probably. But no, I don't think I don't think Raya would have made a difference in terms of the whole goalkeeper situation. Yeah, I haven't ever had a chance to speak about this. Wow.
Yeah. Go ahead.
About the whole goalkeeper situation.
I told you so.
Sure. So, I don't want to say I necessarily disagree. I don't want to really say I agree. I'm just going to let this play out and see what happens. I don't think, Raya has really put a bad foot forward yet. One thing I've seen it with Raya that I haven't liked is on like his long balls and things like that. He just hits them out. Like it's either just out of play or just short or it's too long or I don't know. I don't like his long passing ability, but in terms of shot stopping, in terms of crossing, just crosses and handling those and commanding the box, I think he does a much better job than not much better, but I think he does do a better job than Ramsdale. And I really haven't seen him. I mean, save wise, he made an amazing save against who was that? Was it Madison or I forgot sometime during the match? But he made a goal line save early in the match to keep us I believe at 2-1 or 1-1 or something like that. So yeah, no, I mean he hasn't put a wrong foot forward yet, and hopefully he doesn't. But obviously I'm just gonna trust our manager and trust that he sees them every day in training. And he's seen Raya in training, he's seen Ramsdale in training, and he made a change. And I'm going to respect that change. I know at this point that we have 2 top keepers. That's in my perspective. So if someone does go down, we have another one who can step up and get the job done. It's not too much of a drop off. And you can't say that about a lot of other teams. Will it cause friction? Yes. Has it caused friction? I believe so. And I don't even want to get into much of like the antics and the rumors and stuff like that. I really don't want to talk about that, but I think that nobody's spot is safe. I think that honestly, outside of Saka and Odegaard, and select Saliba, no one's spot's really safe. We have a couple guys who have their spot on lock. I would say Zinchenko is probably another one, but for the rest of you guys, this should be a wake up call, knowing that listen, if you're not going to perform, you're going to sit down. You'll be playing left bench. That's where you'll be at. Left and right bench and center bench. You're not going to be on the pitch. And I think Kai Havertz has learned that. He was the first one, and now it's Ramsdale. He's the second one. And unfortunately, we've had injuries, so we've had to bring guys in. But this should be a wake up call for people and letting them know that Arteta has already said it. I want to have 2 guys deep in every position, and he's talking about 2 guys of similar quality in every position. So if you're not performing to the quality and the standards that we're going to need, you won't be playing. And I want to say that right now. I'm speaking to Jesus right now, because if we go and get Ivan Toney in January and that man comes back firing, Martinelli's will start when he comes back. I believe he will start. So just as a message to you, my guy, if you do not start to pick it up and score goals, what your job is and what your main thing is, to what we brought you in here to do, you will be sitting on the bench, coming off the bench as well. So please, I want this to be a lesson to all Arsenal people, everyone that's on the pitch. Please do your job and do it well, because if not, you will be on the bench. And I don't think Arteta has any time for it either. He has any mess for it either. And I agree with that, and that's why I trust my manager now. So that's where I'm at. Please stop the mistakes at home, and please do better at your jobs.
Do you guys know how long Rice is out?
Right. Well, they said he's going to be back for City, so I think he'll be fine. They're projecting that Trossard and Rice will be back for City. Martinelli will probably still be out. Partey will probably still be out. Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see.
I know we've been on Arsenal for a little bit. I just had 2 things to say to close out. One, Salam, you put up the snippet of the Ramsdale versus Raya, and I told you, bro, I just felt it. 2 weeks ago, I said that Arteta would play the better keeper, and if he played them at the Champions League match, we would probably see that same keeper for the North London derby, and he did with Raya. And you were thinking he wouldn't, play one because he's making a firm decision that it's a better keeper.
Well, no, I mean, but
I think he's made his decision, bro. Like, to piggyback off what Gabriel said, as the Arsenal, you know what I'm saying?
I was just saying that, like, whatever decision he makes, like, it's going to be a statement, and I guess he made it.
Yeah, we saw it.
I'm saying he's literally made a statement. I just wanted to say that.
Statement. Yep.
I'm not gonna lie, like I didn't want to gas it too much, but even when like those snippets came out, Araya in training, I was like, this guy is serious. Like
he's good.
He was catching stuff that Ramsdale was not catching. And it might not sound crazy to other people, but
catchers don't catch anymore, man. We were talking about
that's the difference between a corner and you keeping possession.
Yeah.
So when I see Raya, and I'm not gonna, I knew it. I just wasn't gonna say it to y'all, but now that all this has happened, I'm gonna say it. Yeah. But when I saw Raya catching certain shots in the corner, and I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, he might start for real. He might start for real.
He's gonna be Spain's number one for sure.
100%.
Yeah, if he keeps it up, yeah. They don't have a really good number one right
better
now.
Than Unai Simon, for sure.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. We'll see how it plays out.
And the second thing, it was one of the first things you said, but I kind of just wanted to, let you speak. You said you think. I said something along the lines of 2-2 was a fair result, and you kind of rebutted that, and you don't think so. And I think obviously it's because you're too close. But from an unbiased standpoint, I mean, if you look at the match and the way it unfolded, you guys got, the pen was a pen. So let me not say it wasn't a handball in the box, because it was. But two very bad Romero mistakes. He got an own goal and the handball to cause, the penalty that Saka scored, versus Jesus missing that, potential shot in the box. This was a North London derby. This could have gone either way. There were calls that determined, goals on both sides. Seriously. So for you guys, I mean, even, I'm not the biggest stats guy, but if you look at the stats, 54 possession Tottenham to your 46. Sorry. I mean, that's kind of negligible. You both have 13 shots on frame. You guys created 3 big chances. They created 4. You both missed 2 big chances. So, I mean, if you're looking at the stats wise, it does, for me, back up what I saw in the match. It was one of the match. It was everything you wanted. You had 4 goals. You had big missed chances on both sides. This is a game that could have gone either way. I mean, there were 10 minutes at the very end of the second half in injury time. So it could have gone either way. So, I mean, obviously you're a little biased, and I understand where you're coming from, but 6-7 weeks into the year, both of you undefeated so far. I think this game was exactly what I expected, to be honest. I mean, we can kind of leave it there, and we'll see this year unfold, but it is tough to lose a match when you think that you should have won it. But I don't know, man. I think at the end of the year, I think you'll look back at this result and you'll be a little less mad than you are right now.
No, I'm not. I'm not. I'm not. Why would I sit here and no? Why? We literally gave them a goal, and you can say anything about Romero, but a handball is a handball. That's how the game goes. It's not like he meant to handball it, but a handball is a handball.
And he didn't mean
a deflection is a deflection. That's on Saka shooting and a defender just trying to make a play. You can't necessarily blame him for those 2 things, but I can blame Jorginho for that goal 100%. I can blame him for that goal. I can blame Jesus for not scoring. Those are 2 like major points of the match where I'm not going to sit here and I'm not going to ever look at this match and be like, oh, this is fair result. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I will never look at this match and say it's a fair result. As a fan or as a neutral. Never. I'm sorry, never.
I can't agree.
As a neutral for me, I thought it was.
I can't agree. I can't agree with that. I hear you, but we can move on. But I can't agree with you saying it, because that's not giving them the credit that maybe they don't deserve from you.
Yep,
but from every other innocent bystander. You said it yourself. Going in and getting 2 goals, and they got their second goal 55 minutes in and sat back for 35 minutes essentially. So I agree with you by saying they weren't even looking for the win. They weren't going for the kill. But at the same time, they went in there. They probably executed their game plan to the best they could after what had happened to them. And they got a result. So for me, sure, you may not agree with me, but as innocent bystander, that is a very, very fair for me. For me, I'm gonna say that on record. For me, I think that's that we don't have to talk about it. We can move on to United here because we're going a little bit over. But United, man, Salam said this a little earlier. Onana seemed to have kind of made up for some of his blunders in the early year this past week. Two wins, 2 clean sheets. Salam, just get into it. He had a pretty good week this past week.
Right. I mean, yeah, he had a good redemption, especially what happened last Wednesday versus Bayern. Like you prepare for a game like that, and for that to be the first goal that goes in, that's that's heartbreaking. Considering that I felt like United had played well for the first 20 minutes, and then that goal goes in, heads drop. But I think over the weekend, I think all that mattered was 3 points. They did that. Burnley away from home is going to be tough, regardless of if they're newly promoted or not. I do just want to quickly shout out Johnny Evans. I mean, I didn't see that coming.
I was unfamiliar with your left foot.
Yeah, I mean, and I like Johnny Evans. I think I don't think that he should have left like when he left back in 2013, 14, whenever that was that he left. He went to Leicester and ended up partnering Harry Maguire at center back. But I think that he played great. I think he came in, showed his leadership, pitched in with the goal, scored a goal that was called offsides, which I don't see how that's offsides because Haaland did the same thing. But it's just kind of, it is what it is there. And then today, I mean, Carabao Cup, reigning Carabao Cup champions, you know what I'm saying? We had to defend the title. So today was a good step in the right direction. I think, again, I think the biggest thing for United is just momentum. I think that we need to get wins because there's a lot of, commotion, unneeded commotion going on, in and around the team. So I think to take care of business on the field is massive. And a lot of players have been stepping up and pushing forward. Another shout out, Hannibal, Academy U. From Tunisia. I think that he played great over the weekend against Burnley. And he played great today against Crystal Palace. So hopefully he can continue getting some time. Amrabat looked great today. He was playing left back, but I think just being at Old Trafford, he was able to kind of play a little bit in midfield, and him and Casemiro look good together. I'm very excited to see him, really gelled in with this team. I think a pivot of him, Casemiro, and Bruno is pretty good. And I think that with Højlund up there and Rashford off the left, I think that we'll be able to hopefully produce more goals. But after a chaotic last week, we've managed to bounce back with 2 back-to-back wins now. So good momentum, and the next few games, we need to make sure that we take care of business because I think October 29th, we play City at Old Trafford. So, we play Crystal Palace in the Premier League over the weekend. We play Galatasaray. That's going to be a tough game. So, yeah, we got to take advantage of these easier games on paper.
I wasn't able to watch the match today, but I saw that Mason Mount got an assist, and then he was off after the first half. Kind of assess that since being back. And then do you think it was just a fitness thing? Is that why he played only the first half, or?
Yeah, I mean, he's just coming back from injury. I mean, to be very honest with you, he didn't really do a whole lot. He had moments in the game where, he would be a part of, combinations in the attacking third. But I mean, I think that when I watched Mason Mount today, I kind of came to the conclusion of if he's going to be the first one off the bench, I guess that's best case scenario for him in this team.
Mm-hmm. I think. You don't think he could start over Eriksen?
That's what I would do. I think Ten Hag though really likes this guy, really rates this guy, and I think that he's going to play him no matter what. I think in a perfect world, Ten Hag would play Mason Mount at the 10, Bruno off the right, and then Rashford on the left. But, Bruno has shown that he's better, through the middle. But I don't know. Mason Mount's his guy, so I think that he's going to play. I think that he's best coming off the bench. I do like his versatility. I think that that's good. But I just feel like when I watch him, it's just like you're not really like affecting the game in any way. So it's just one of those things where he is coming back from an injury. So and it's just I don't know, him coming off after a half was kind of expected, but it's just one of those things where I hope he can kick on. Because we paid a lot of money for him, and I think we need him to produce. We're in a lot of competitions, and he's one of the guys that the manager is definitely looking at as a key player. So not for me though. I think he's firmly off the bench. Him off the bench wouldn't be bad. It's a short.
So do you think Ten Hag will be using Amrabat on the left back position?
No, I think the only reason why he's there right now is because Luke Shaw's out, Malacia is out, and Reguilon is now out.
Yeah, so I'm saying the next game you see him, you think he's going to play that position again?
Yeah, so I think like this next week against Crystal Palace on Saturday, Amrabat will play at left back, and then midfield, if I had to guess, would be Casemiro, Bruno, and Mason Mount. That's what it's going to be. Because Eriksen can't play anymore. After the Bayern Munich game, I think he showed that his legs are gone. Once a great player, but hey, Father Time is undefeated. And, I think that still world-class player Christian Eriksen is, but the one thing that Mason Mount gives us that he doesn't is legs. And, in a congested schedule with all these games, he can be useful in a squad.
Yeah, he will run around. I'll tell you that. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean he'll be useful in the squad. I'm not expecting him to necessarily be a major contributor. I know the manager is, but I mean it's just one of those things, man. Shout out Garnacho too, though, man. I think he's showing that he can make an impact too, and man.
Let's touch on the elephant in the room. I know we've talked about it a little bit, but there's new developments. Your boy Sancho, I mean, he's now completely vanished from touching foot to the ground. He can't be anywhere around the first team
until he apologized.
Deleted social media. As a United fan, I mean, what are you expecting? Like, what is the best outcome you hope for in this situation?
I think the best outcome, obviously, is that he apologizes to the manager and the coaching staff, and then everyone moves on. I think that, when you look at the team and with the congested schedule, we need him to play. Anthony's out right now. He's not playing. Like, we have nobody.
I forgot about him.
We have nobody on the right-hand side. Like, this was the opportunity for him to come in and show that, like, hey, like, over the next, run of games, I can make an impact. And unfortunately, here we are talking about why he's not even around. He's like the facility. Like, you're not even forget training. Like, you know what I'm saying? This whole thing stemmed from you're not doing enough in training, and I just like I don't know, bro. I felt like the obvious thing to do in that moment was to whatever he said.
Put your head down and prove them wrong.
Put your head down and just train. But now you're just like throwing your toys at the wall. So it's just like, I don't know, man. He needs to apologize. There's reports that came out that said people close to him in the team are telling him to just apologize so that we can all move on from this. But
the PFA said they'd help.
The PFA is getting involved for what? It's not a.
They said they'd help.
It's a team.
They said they help.
Because it's so obvious.
He's English. It's only because he's English.
If you apologize, you come back. That might be your spot for real,
bro. Ronaldo,
it's open right now.
Ronaldo at Old Trafford in front of full Old Trafford, 75,000 people, ran off and back into the locker room. right?
Never played again for them.
No, bro.
He came back. He came back after that.
Bro, he came back.
But he was suspended.
My point is, Ten Hag has shown that, like, yo, if you right your wrongs, like with the team, that you can come back into the team. Everything that he said in that press conference was he wasn't selected today in the matchday squad against Arsenal because he wasn't training well. He didn't say that, like, yo, he's just not in my plans at all. You know, this is the same guy that took you away from the spotlight, sent you last year to Holland and protected you. So, like, this whole situation now, I'm just like, I don't know, man. I just think that he's very showing his immaturity. I think that's just like what
I agree. But I mean, there's always the other side we don't know. Because for you to be that stubborn to not just apologize and get it over with.
But I mean, like, bro, if there are reports coming, I mean, there's reports. All we can go off is reports. But if people are saying there are players that are close to him in the team talking to him saying, "Hey, man,
apologize."
Let's just get this over with." Like, what do you mean? He's a good player, man. We need him. Like, you know, Palestri's good, but like come on, man. This is your
opportunity. Could have a Sancho,
something new, bro. Like, why haven't, like, you know? I don't know, man. But I think like what's gonna happen is he's gonna apologize. That's what's gonna happen, and he'll play again.
Okay,
100%. I think he will because
if that's all he needs to do. I mean, now that social media is off and all that, you don't know. He might get his head straight. Might just apologize and get it over with.
Like, bro,
I don't think it's social media though. I don't think it's social media. I think it's the men down.
No, I'm just saying now that like all the distractions are, I don't think it's just that, but I feel like there's been outside noise too. He's kind of feeding into it. I feel like
for sure. But Gabriel, I don't necessarily disagree with you, but like, I just think that this guy needs to focus on, like the main thing. I don't know. You can only go off of reports, but the reports are not looking good, man. The reports are reporting. Reports of he's up playing FIFA Pro clubs with Tim Abraham losing against Burnley. You know what I'm saying? During the game versus Burnley, up late to training. Come on, man. Like, what are we talking about here? We've all seen it. We've all played football, man. We've all seen the guys come late to train. You don't say anything, but it's just like, bro, come on, man. This is unacceptable. This is Manchester United. You know what I'm saying? Bro, Rashford, hold on. Rashford was a few seconds late to a meeting. Dropped against West Ham. Dropped. Marcus Rashford. Jadon Sancho.
MBE.
What are you
doing? He over here playing FIFA with speed. Not checking that time zone difference.
Yeah, man. But yeah,
let's do predictions, man.
Yeah, man.
Chelsea predictions are at this point. It's almost like we're lying through our teeth.
I know how these
draw.
It's like you're lying.
I know how these games gonna go, but
bet the under every time.
Nah, we playing Brighton. We might get peppered again.
Yeah, tomorrow we visit. Brighton visits us in the Carabao Cup. I was low key in my head thinking, yeah, if we get knocked out, this might be good for us. Like, this is where I've been, like, really like negotiating with myself that a loss is not the worst case scenario.
Yeah,
I'm not. I swear on everything, I'm not lying. Like, I was preparing myself today. Like, I was like, we play tomorrow. I'm like, damn, we play Brighton. I was like, to be honest, if we lose, we might have more time to train or something. Like, I was just like, it is what it is, man. Like,
that's funny.
Because I don't know how Cornelius feels, but bro, I was mad as hell. I was mad as hell on Saturday.
The way I look at it,
back and I was like, you're still looking at your team from that. They're not there. Like, lower your expectations. That's what I've been telling myself. Lower your expectations.
The way I look at it, we're not going to have many opportunities to win anything this year. So the few chances we get, I hate to be lined up with Brighton for like the fourth round or whatever we're in right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, seriously, I'm happy we're at home. Brighton's been solid so far to start this year, so it's going to be a tough match, even though we are at home. I would love to get a result if we can manage to score early and kind of just coast through. That would be nice because I'm telling you, man, we don't start bad. It's just we don't get goals. So I'm hoping for an early goal. Maybe we could take it into
Quick
extra
start.
time, and if it goes to PKs, it's anybody's battle there. So.
Yeah.
Let's just get a result, man. Let's not embarrass ourselves at home. That's where I'm at right now.
Thank you.
Yeah, we play Crystal Palace at Old Trafford. I think it's very encouraging that Rashford didn't play today. Bruno didn't play today. A lot of guys that are going to play big minutes over the course of the season got some rest today. So I think at Old Trafford, I think we'll get the dub. I think Haaland will definitely score. I think that he's going to be very good for us, man. And the one thing that I see in him already is that it's going to be a work in progress. He's not the finished article, but he has a lot of intangibles that we don't have, especially in that position. We haven't had in a long time. So, yeah, I think we'll get the 3 points against them. And, yeah, man, hopefully, this can be, the start of a run before, we see City.
Yeah, we play Brentford at home or away from home. I honestly don't even know how. Honestly, I need Jesus to prove to someone why we shouldn't sign Ivan Toney. I'm not even trying to be funny.
Yeah, why are you hanging on Jesus like this?
Because I'm over it, bro. I'm over this nonsense, bro. I'm really tired of seeing him miss wide open chances. I'm tired of it. I'm so tired of it. Everything he does, everything else.
Eddie can do your job.
Like I need, and at this point we're down to Saka is also injured. They say he might not make it for this weekend. So we're down to literally the reserves. So I expect Reece Nelson to start. Maybe Smith Rowe get a start.
Your boy Kai.
Kai Havertz literally has to start, and Keddy I think has to start as well. So I still expect us to win. I just get 2-0, get out of there. I need to see. We play City in like a week. Like we play City in like 10 days, 12 days. We need to pick it up. With the players that we have right now, we need to pick it up. And I think defensively we'll be fine. I don't think there'll be as much of a threat. I think offensively we need to get kick-started and get to going and we can't just keep relying on Saka. We need other guys to step up. We need other guys to score goals. So 2-0 at Brentford tomorrow. And yeah, let's just pray.
Right.
All right.
Feel that, man. You guys got any shout-outs?
Shout out Harry Kane, first Bayern hat trick this past weekend.
Technically, it doesn't count.
Why not?
It's like a Bundesliga rule. It's like if it's not like in the first half and it's not all like in the run of play, doesn't actually count as a hat trick type. It's weird. It's a weird rule.
I ain't never heard that.
I bet he's counting it.
Yeah, I mean, no, everyone's gonna count it, but yeah, it's like some weird Bundesliga rule, like non-PKs. It's some weird.
That is crazy.
But yeah.
Okay, shout out Son. 2 spectacular finishes. The first finish, I just felt like y'all seen like when Shaq was dunking on everybody. The sky view. Yeah, man. That was a beautiful finish. No banter. I just wanted to recognize it once thing. Yo, as a 9 though. You know what I'm saying? This new
oh man.
No shout outs this week for me.
Yeah, I don't have any, man. I need my Chelsea boys to start doing something. I'm tired of shouting other people out.
we gonna win a 1-0 match and we gonna talk about that for weeks.
Yeah, if we beat Brighton, I think it'll be the serotonin will be crazy.
So
they've been pulling our pants down for the last couple of years, and I think a win against Brighton will be good for us. But we'll see what happens.
All right, well, good stuff. Yeah, man, appreciate everyone for tuning in.
Thank you guys.
Absolutely. And as always,